Okay.
Like, alrighty. Welcome to the PSBS, that's the PlayStation Bull Session Podcast. I'm your host, Cody, PSN Bayou Boys. My co-host here is
Andrew Arenas, double is.
Yes, and we are joined today by our guest host,
Emmett Watkins Jr., EJ Spun 61.
Yes, see, Emmett's back to go over with us the Sony E3 Press Conference, which just ended a little while ago. We're trying to give you direct reactions to that since it kind of just ended. And since this is very heavily PlayStation related, we're going to chalk this up as episode 21 and not just a special E3 episode like our last two were, the EA and the Bethesda one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is going to be our official 21st episode.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah. So yes, indeed.
Jesus
So,
Christ, that conference.
Yeah, trying to figure out where to start here, but a lot of surprising stuff. And
Here in that Sony did a fantastic
Start-
job.
start from the beginning.
For the
of
most
story.
part, there was maybe some things that I felt was maybe a little left out. We'll get to those later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to those. But
Okay.
what Sony started
But-
off with was no more waiting. Last Guardian has returned.
Yes.
Oh my God,
And
from the
unfortunately,
deepest
I'm
cryo
wrong.
sleep.
It's like right out of the gate. It's like Last Guardian. We opened the show with Last Guardian. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't freaking believe it. You see, because
Yep.
I was at the PlayStation E3 Experience Theater thing, the entire crowd
Mhm.
went freaking crazy. Like you couldn't hear anything for a good 30 seconds after the screaming was over. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah. But it's great that's... Yeah. That's been exciting. But the weird thing, too, like with The Last Guardian, it's like, it's been so long since we last seen it. I think last time they showed it was like 2009 was when they last showed it. So it's been a while. And... it's here. It's finally here. They showed an extended demo. It went on for a good bit, just kind of showing the gameplay or whatever. One thing, though, I kind of noticed, and I mean, some people are probably going to be complaining about this, but it's on PS4 now, but, obviously there's going to be more comparison videos, and we'll see, but, considering we saw this 7 years ago, it's not that different.
Well, it really is what you waited for. It's
Or not 6 years ago.
True.
Well,
Something like that.
really just to kind of come back to it's really what you waited for. It's.
I know, but it's not like other...
We couldn't have like a completely different looking game. It couldn't. I don't think it could have been like a revision.
Yeah,
that
that's
maybe people
kind
were
of...
hoping for.
Yeah, that's kind of what you picture with games that go dormant after a while. That's what happened with like Until Dawn,
The original
Final
Borderlands.
Fantasy, the original Borderlands, Final Fantasy 13 Versus or whatever. Like those games went dormant, and when they came back, they were completely rebuilt. Like it's something different, because they had to kind of rework it, But with Last Guardian, it's like, no, it looks like the same game you originally showed us, and it kind of makes you wonder, well, if it's the same game, then what was the holdup,
I feel like it was like some internal struggle or something, but I really think they just had a hard time figuring out how to make extra content for the game because it probably needed to be, this is probably going to be a full $60 title. They probably had to figure out, we got to figure out how to use this dog thing in different ways and how to use gameplay with the kid and all this other stuff. They probably had to make it into a full game, and they
But
just
it
didn't figure out how to do that.
That long, and the time that it took, Naughty Dog made an entire trilogy of Uncharted. Sucker Punch made Infamous 1, 2, and Second Son. It's
True.
like-
Yeah, and it's
Crazy.
just weird. I guess switching over to PS4 was probably one thing too, where it's like, we're switching to PS4, but still, it still looks, fundamentally and visually, it's like the same game we saw back in 2009, and it's just kind of, it's a little odd. It's great to see that's finally back, and and they said it's coming out in 2016. Didn't give an exact window, but they just said 2016, so it's coming. It's just. Which just kind of makes you wonder what like I said, what was the holdup? And it's like you said, maybe just internally kind of figuring out the direction of the game and, seeing more than what we see in that one scene.
Yeah.
So.
I still think the details with the PlayStation 4, the details in it are looking pretty amazing because Like I said, I saw it on the big screen, so I could see like the bricks falling apart when he was on that little platform that was about to fall down. You could see like the feathers just looked really great on the little griffin looking thing. I mean, it looked really nice, and it proved that it is on PlayStation 4. You probably couldn't do that type of stuff on PS3 very well. So, I don't know, man. I think it looks fine. I think it'll look better the closer we get to release, too.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there'll probably be some comparison videos soon, like comparing the look of what we saw in 2009 to what we see now. You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Agreed.
Yes. But, yeah, and the Sony didn't stop punching, man. Right after the big punch of Last Guardian, they follow it up with, guess what? Guerrilla's new IP.
Sweet Jesus. I can't believe it. It's like, okay. This is like, okay, so I brought a friend with me. He's not into video games all that much. He's not into PlayStation all that much. He saw that Project Horizon demo, which is the name of Guerrilla's new game. He saw that demo, and everyone else saw that demo. The entire room, including him and I, just lost our minds. That looks like the coolest possible thing they could possibly show.
Yeah,
I swear to
Guerrilla's
God.
new game.
Yeah. Yeah. I found it really weird that, like I said, they already had the big opening with Last Guardian, like it's back. And it was kind of weird to have Horizon be like the second thing, They didn't save it for last. It was just the second thing, like trying to keep it going. And it's like, Guerrilla comes on stage and is like, yep, we're trying something completely different, because, they done Killzone for so long. It's like doing something different. And then when they showed Horizon, they do like the kind of regular trailer thing. I thought that was all it was going to be, was kind of like just a cinematic trailer,
Yep, same here.
Then they had
Just
gameplay.
Yeah, they had gameplay. They show her, and they show her on their mountain, and then they take control. And I'm like, what? They're gonna show us gameplay too? And it's just, the game just looks insane. Like it's in the future, and everyone's kind of gone back into a tribal thing. But like robots are still like intelligent or whatever, and they become like the new animals. There's like robot dinosaurs everywhere.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's just
You,
the
like,
most
hunt
insane
them?
thing.
It's like, who needs Rise of the Tomb Raider? We have freaking robot dinosaurs.
Exactly. Oh my God. It's spectacular.
I appreciate that the game actually takes place on Earth. Like, it isn't like a distant planet, or like it's not like in space or anything. Like it's grounded like on Earth, which I'm happy of.
Yeah.
Kind of the concept art maybe led you to believe, that's not very Earth-like. Maybe it's like takes place like on another planet or something, or if it's like sci-fi. Well, I mean, it has elements of science fiction, but it's at least on Earth, which I appreciate very much. And that this game has a ton of potential due to the fact, they hired the writer from Fallout New Vegas, and so it's going to be pretty expansive, probably in its dialogue. And I believe they also got some former quest designers from previous Witcher games, so
my God,
it's going to
yes.
be pretty spectacular. And with the help of Sony, and hopefully if they market it right, this game could probably be very successful on PS4, and I hope it is, so then it could be a thing, because like they said, new franchise.
Oh yeah, amen to that.
That's what I'm very happy about. So maybe once this first one takes off, it could be a thing, which I hope it is, because it has a lot of potential for what we've seen. It clearly does. Now, before we go any further, here's one thing of note that maybe we'll probably go into before my biggest gripe with the entire conference, as good as it was. That when you maybe had saw the way the camera was kind of going on these games, it was kind of having like that wide angle view of like all the game demos.
Yeah.
And that kind of like misled me, thinking like, oh, are these games gonna are all these games being shown right now up to a certain point, and somebody's gonna be like, guess what? All of them have Morpheus support. That would have been freaking awesome. Maybe not Last Guardian. As silly as that may sound, but like, freaking that game, and then all the other ones that were announced before. The 2-minute Oculus. I mean, not Oculus. The 2-minute Morpheus. Talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because personally, my biggest gripe was that the fact that they barely talked about Morpheus at all, and if they really wanted to go commercial, I don't understand why they talked about it so little. It's not that I wanted it to like really completely halt the momentum, but the fact that they barely gave it even like the length of a normal pop song nowadays is just ridiculous. I don't.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I think.
What are they gonna do?
Well, I think that's what surprised people is that's probably what's going to be the biggest surprise here is that they didn't actually focus on Morpheus as much as people thought they were going to.
Yeah.
Because everybody predicted that, like, oh, it's going to be Morpheus heavy. I think with the Morpheus, they know that it's kind of a separate thing.
Yeah. It's a niche product.
It's this new kind of it's a niche product. So I think what they're going to do with the Morpheus, I think once they get closer to launch, they'll probably give that its own event.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's appropriate at this point to even give it its own event, or like better yet, possibly, even though it might not be the audience for it, is that at PSX you also have something as well that's separate from the main PSX thing, because this along with the Vita, because what Vita again? At the Sony conference? So that, but basically we're accustomed to that at this point. So it's not like it's like something that's gratifyingly like bad, but like it's still something at this point, and it's just like, well, and the fact that they glossed over Guerrilla's other game for the Morpheus was just like, I don't know.
Well, that's Guerrilla Cambridge, the guys who did the
Vita.
Yeah, I know,
Killzone.
but like the fact that it was just like glossed over, kind of like not swept under the rug, but kind of just like puts to the side. It's just like, well, I don't really have confidence in Sony really kind of maybe going forward with Morpheus. And now that might sound crazy, but even back when Morpheus was first shown, they weren't even really sure this thing was even going to be commercialized.
Exactly.
And so, because due to the fact that Microsoft just had announced their partnership with Oculus, Sony must have just been like, well, probably not last minute, but Sony must have just been like, well, shoot, we got to maybe kind of rethink how we're going to maybe approach this, or better yet, maybe not even approach it at all, because from what we've seen today, it really wasn't anything. I mean, we had Guerrilla's game, but it doesn't lend me much confidence that Sony is even gonna maybe even invest in it. And for the love of God, even seeing how Move was, I don't think Sony should even go forward with Morpheus, because it is too much of an investment. Very few people are gonna have it. And it's just something that's not even commercially proven yet, because you have Oculus that's going to officially come out for once, which is going to be a big deal, but we don't even know how that's going to be yet, because hypothetically, if you did have Morpheus, Oculus, and some other VR headsets were to come out, like a crazy person out there would probably personally have 3 VR headsets in their living room, which is insane, but like even a normal person wouldn't even have any at all.
I'm right there with you, dude.
So so it's like Sony, and we already know about their market, but they have gotten better in that regard, which I'm very happy with. But I just don't know for an entire product, not even an add-on, maybe accessory. Don't even want to call it that. Really undermines it, even though it's pretty big. It really rewrites of how we possibly play and understand games. But at the same time, it's just, I just don't know if now's the time yet, and it's not looking right, and maybe we'll hear more stuff later, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're just overreacting a bit. I think Sony just
I don't know.
realized
That was really lackluster. They barely talked about it at all.
Yeah, but it's like you said, you got to do the timing right, because I just don't know if they wanted to spend, E3 talking about a peripheral that is not required.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we saw that when the Move came out. Like, no one liked that they were talking about the Move so much at E3. Like, that E3 is like, that's prime time right there, and they kind of want to show games.
But then, how do you even display it to a large audience then? Because if you don't display it to a large audience, it's not going to catch on. It won't. Exactly. Even when it does hypothetically come out, it's just going to fail.
But I mean, the thing is with the Morpheus, it can, that, like I said, I think that's something that kind of needs its own presentation, which Sony will probably do. Sony will probably give that thing its own presentation.
Yeah, I agree.
To kind of show, when this is coming out, what's it going to actually be called, what games, support it. Like, that's something that can do its own event. I think that Sony wants. They didn't want their conference to be all about the VR, because they knew that's not maybe something they should devote too much time to, and they have all this other stuff they have to show. I think that really is something that's just going to get its own event later on, because they still have time. This thing won't come out till next year.
Yeah, I mean, they got plenty of time.
We don't want to Wonder Book 2. It's going to be very short for Sony. It's just, I don't know. It kind of just left me not knowing, and then maybe in a little bit of a state of worry. And and Sony, well, maybe they'll clear that up maybe within 6 months or 3 months time, but right now I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they were going to show that on the big stage at E3 because it's kind of hard to demo something like that for a huge audience, and Lord knows we don't need another Wonder Book moment, so it was just a better idea to just leave that for people to look up stuff because it's really going to only sell you on it if you experience it in person yourself, so.
Yeah. Plus they did say the Morpheus... But they did say the Morpheus is playable at E3, so you're going to have people at E3 getting their hands on more impressions of it.
Yeah, you'll read some previews and stuff. Heads on.
Yeah, previews and all that.
Okay, son. Oh, boy. But yeah, I think the Morpheus is going to be fine, but there are plenty of other things during that conference that I lost my mind about. Such as...
Yeah, such as... I think after they were done showing Horizon, I think they moved on to No Man's Sky for this is like the third year in a row or something like that.
Actual gameplay though, like live gameplay.
Yeah, it was live gameplay, but it looked great. Don't get me wrong, but I still don't really even understand what you even do in this game.
I mean, the game's all about exploration and discovery. Like, I discovered this new planet. Look at these new animals I found, and like it's all. That's all it's about. I just wanted to see
how really just like the overall mechanics were, like kind of moment to moment, you know.
Well, because I mean, it kind of shows that.
I still don't really get it, and we've been through how many E3s of that thing, and it's like the same presentation every year of that game.
Yeah, because I
went back and watched the one that was from last year. I'm like, it's the same presentation, but this time the guy's holding a controller.
Yeah, that's the difference this time.
Yeah, I know, and that kind of bothered me. And No Man's Sky is such a weird game, considering, you know, where the development team is. You know, the last game was freaking Joe Danger. Look at that game, and well, I'm sure we've all played it. Who would have thought? Definitely. And it looks inspired. Like, it's clearly from Star Wars and other realms of science fiction. That's great. I like the art style. I just don't really understand where the gameplay lies in that game. And gameplay is really king for me, and I really want it to be like something really compelling to play, even despite, you know, having it limitless content, things that won't even be explored in the game, which is awesome. But I just want to see more how the game actually functions and actually really does work. And after 3 years, I still haven't even understand that yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games you're not going to kind of get until you play it, you know.
But I would like a little more clarification. That's like none. It's little.
I guess. I mean, it's like Minecraft. It's hard to explain what you do in Minecraft. You just kind of do it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, but at least there's like mechanics and there's no structure to it. But there's like mechanics and kind of things that you kind of would understand in Minecraft of what to do. But in No Man's Sky, it's just like, well, okay, you can go explore, but what exactly do you even do?
Well, I mean, they keep like saying like, oh, you can mine stuff, and I guess you can mine stuff and make things. I guess because I mean, they show you like break down rocks and whatnot.
You can shoot enemies with the same weapon you use to break down stuff. So there has to be a little bit of combat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think here's the thing.
You had like that thing. Yeah. You had like that thing that was like looking for explorers. So there's like threats around you. So
I mean, there's space combat. You can go in space and shoot at other ships and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like they can. We may not completely understand what this game is or how the moment to moment gameplay will be. But the thing is, they've shown us just enough for us to get excited. Like, I'm still going to play this game when it comes out because it looks cool and I like the art style and everything. If it's, if the gameplay ends up disappointing me, I mean, I feel like it'll still be kind of fun. I know just enough to know a little bit of what I'm getting myself into. So I really don't need to see the whole thing.
Yeah, and apparently, too, there's, like, a currency system in the game, because, like, when you retrieved all that data, it said, 6,000 credits applied to this account, and, like, in the beginning, when you got in a spaceship, it said it purchased it as a spaceship. When you got in, it said spaceship bought or whatever.
Yeah.
So, there is a currency system. There is a way to, like, buy new ships and upgrades and stuff,
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that there. There's not directly showing it to you, but it's there.
Yeah. I mean, and the hooks of gameplay will be there. I mean, I feel like we're just all worried a little bit too much since we feel like we've seen so much or haven't seen so much. So
the same kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be fine. I'm really not. I trust Hello Games. Not the exact
same, but just kind of the same style of presentation, which is fine. And and it's just like, well, okay, I was really high for No Man's Sky, but then once it started getting kind of like the presentations getting similar, I was like, okay, well, I really want to see what this game's all about then, and I'm really concerned about the game's release date, and I'm wondering if it's even coming out this year, and if really, since Sony has dedicated so much time to this game, if it's just going to be solely exclusive to PlayStation.
I mean, I think they said it's going to be console exclusive, or at least timed console exclusive.
Yeah.
So
because they push this game so much on their press conferences, it's just like, well, if they've already spent this much time and money, just might as well make it exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, they can't just up and do that. That probably costs
I wonder
a lot
about
more
the
money.
game's price point too. I wonder if it's going to be like $20 or like 40 or.
Oh, it's 60, not. It can't be
know.
over 20. I mean, it's still an indie game at the end of the day. I question if they'd be trying to go for that much for a game like this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we have seen some downloadable games have go on to over the $20 mark. So.
Yeah.
That's very rare.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I think can warrant costing more than $20 is maybe, I don't know, Final Fantasy VII Remake, maybe?
Well, we still have one, the PS4 remaster that's coming out, so can't forget about that one. Even though people don't want that one, but I take it that one's still coming.
But I think now they're just worried about the
just
remake that got announced at the conference.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know who's doing that remake.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I just got home, so I didn't even check Twitter to see if there's talk about it.
I don't think it would really be done at Square Enix internally. I mean, do you really think they have the resources at Square Enix to even do that right now?
Well, I mean, they put up like the director names and stuff. I mean, that's so you know who's developing and like people, but I mean, I don't know the exact.
Yeah,
team.
Exactly. I mean, that's like the concerning point there. So it's just like, where you get excited a little bit. Just.
I mean, it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny when they got to Final Fantasy because like first they showed the trailer for like World of Final Fantasy or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that
little game. Yeah, that probably put a lot of people off because they just thought, oh crap, more bastardization of Final Fantasy VII. Like, and hey, that's a Vita game though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a PS4/Vita game, a little cutesy RPG of Final Fantasy. But then, so I think that put a lot of people off when they first saw that because like in the trailer kept stressing like adorable combat and adorable characters, and it's like what?
Little Big Fantasy.
Yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy VII fans were getting ticked off probably at that trailer, and then when that trailer was done, they're like, I want more Final Fantasy news, and it's just, and you got like the narrator like just pretty much saying, hey, sorry we screwed up, because the narrator was like, a broken promise finally returned, or something like that.
Oh my god, it was great.
And the trailer, like, it stressed remake.
Remake, yeah, I said that. Remake. Like,
not a remaster.
Yeah. Not a remaster. It's a full remake, and it's like Final Fantasy VII or whatever.
It's probably like such a ways off. That's the only thing. Like,
oh, yeah. This is basically Final Fantasy 16 as far as like the amount of probably time they're going to put in that. So that's how far off it is.
But now we know it's a thing.
That's like maybe like the end. That's probably like the end game once like the PS4 is about to die.
Shoot.
That's the swan song of the PS4.
Maybe. I mean, if we maybe take it that this console generation might be shorter than the last, then I don't know.
Yeah, it comes out on the tail end or something.
Yeah, because I mean, Square Enix is still working heavily on Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, and this Final Fantasy 7 probably hasn't even really been started on yet. So, and they can't really work on it until they're done with those other two big games.
See?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the ways off.
It's certainly exciting. I mean, that was an announcement that's been awaiting for a long time, along with Last Guardian Return, and I mean, it's especially you had like the first quarter of that conference was just something purely out of something like a fanfic of like somebody writing a conference. I want Last Guardian to come back. I want Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want this. It's Shenmue 3, and it's just like, wow. And as of the time of this recording, Shenmue 3 has already more than 10,000 more backers, and it's probably already raised almost $1 million.
Oh yeah, it's well past $1 million at this point.
Yeah,
now, me personally, I unfortunately have never gotten the pleasure to play Shenmue, but I definitely understand its appeal and its legacy, and clearly the people have spoken that they want another one.
Yeah, it was kind of ballsy for Sony to just
maybe
put
you
up
can
a
bring the
Kickstarter.
old ones to the PS4. That'd be great.
Yeah, they'll probably have some type of remake, remaster, some type of thing for the other two.
So that was great. Yeah, maybe you could criticize Sony for really just announcing a Kickstarter and not actually, I don't know, funding the game. But then, that would render the game exclusive, and people don't like those. So,
Yeah.
maybe Sheumue 3 will probably come to Xbox One as well, and PC. So it's like, well, Sony maybe couldn't fund the game, but hey, they announced it on like one of the biggest live shows for gaming of the year. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
it worked to their benefit. It's getting money. And it's surely going to get its Kickstarter goal relatively quickly. So that was great.
And then it was funny when Sony was on stage too, talking about like, many game projects have been, funded through Kickstarter, and they say Amplitude. I'm like, where's Amplitude? You said the word Amplitude,
got it shout out.
and I'm like, well, where is it? Yeah, you got a shout out, but where is it?
Well,
and I think they showed it in a sizzle reel.
Conference.
Yeah, and they showed Amplitude in a sizzle reel at one point. But I'm like, but where is it? Like, I know we should more be asking Harmonix. Okay, well, Harmonix, where's Amplitude? Isn't it supposed to be out by now?
I know.
I'm like,
we got to hear official word from that. Somebody that might be interviewing those folks at Harmonix about Rock Band 4 should actually be a little concerned about Amplitude. That game should be out in maybe 2 months' time by now.
Yeah.
They're announcing more songs for it, though. They just recently announced more songs, but we need an announcement of, I don't know, a release date for it.
Yeah.
So it's just...
I mean, Amplitude could be one of those games where they can just be like, oh, by the way, it comes out next week.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
that's so stupid. I mean, by then, automatically you'll get my purchase, but it's just like, there's really no build up there. Well, it's been built up to come out, but like, just announce it already, like when it's coming. Sure, maybe it could be like a one-off thing, like, oh, it's coming, next week or whatever, but it's just say something to prepare people to actually, get it. It's just a little weird. It's very weird.
I don't think people are looking forward to Amplitude to the point where that's like their one game that they're gonna, time stops when it comes out. I think it's gonna be one of those games where they
summer,
announce.
like it's great because it's kind of a dead area. I mean, we have Batman Arkham Knight coming next week, but it's like, I would love a downloadable game to play.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be one of those. Oh, that's a nice surprise! I can play Amplitude finally whenever it does come out, instead of I've been counting down 3 years for Amplitude.
If anything, man, it is better be by the end of August.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. They said summer, so I mean that's their limit.
Super close to Rock Band 4, and Rock Band 4 is coming on. I was kind of surprised that they didn't, especially with these new music games. None of them got any like showtime on the E3, but it was already so crowded. So it was like, no. I mean, you're even at like Microsoft's conference, you had like the big games like already cut out, So it's like, where's there room for like a returning genre of gaming where it was kind of like dead? That's not like a bad sign that maybe this will already automatically fail. It's just, where the time needs to be given, especially for announcements, new IPs, and games that actually really need to be displayed, because we already know what Rock Band 4 is going to be like anyways. And Amplitude, we kind of got an idea of it. It would have been nice to maybe see that game for like even a few seconds up on the show floor, but it's just like, well, we already kind of have an idea of it already. Let's not really give that much time because, 90 minutes is precious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Sony was really keeping everything on time. Like I mean,
the
some of the big stuff,
like,
they keep it on time, and they're keeping everything within a certain time, like each presentation, because like some got longer, obviously, like Last Guardian and Horizon, those got longer because those were like reveals and first party stuff.
Yeah,
but like everything else was
like longer.
Yeah, longer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like everything else was kind of like on a 3-minute schedule, because like even when like No Man's Sky came on, the guy was like, I only got 3 minutes to show you what I want, so let's do this. And
right.
Everything else was kind of like timely, like it came up, do a little thing, move on, because they had, like I said, after because like after No Man's Skies, then they moved on to then they showed Hitman. It's coming back to next gen.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that was a really good trailer. I like that trailer. It was a really kind of well-made trailer.
Yeah.
Because at first I wasn't sure what it was. I saw the Square Enix logo, and then And I'm like, well, okay, well, what's this? You know, like, I'm like, I don't think this isn't Final Fantasy. And I'm like,
Sleeping Dogs
no.
2.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was Sleeping
I
Dogs 2
thought it was
at
like
first.
Just
I'm like, is
Cause
this Sleeping?
for some weird reason.
Yeah, no, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was Sleeping Dogs though for a minute, and then I saw the red tie, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is Hitman.
It's coming back.
Like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I didn't play Absolution, so I don't know what the story of that one was. But they're like, everybody's like, Agent 47's back, and I'm like, it hasn't been that long since Absolution, right? When
think
that game came
Absolution
out.
was like,
it was maybe 2012.
Yeah, I think 12 or 11. It's not too far back, but it is a good long resting period for him.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
by
I
the
mean,
time the game would have come out, it would have been at least a couple of years, more than a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just didn't seem like Absolution was that far back, and yet the trailer and everyone's kind of like emphasizing like Agent 47's back, and I'm like, I don't know. Like it feels so good to be back, and I'm like, I don't know. To me, Absolution just came out like a year ago. That's what it feels like for me.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I didn't
because
really
you have the
play it.
collection, and it was on PlayStation Plus for a period.
Oh yeah, it's still fresh in
Yeah.
your mind. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But yeah, the trailer looked really cool, and you know they're emphasizing like it's Hitman, it's back. Despite the fact that it's just called Hitman, they said it's not a reboot. It does take place after the last game.
Mhm.
It's just more like a good starting point for the series. Like I guess if you're new.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, and then PlayStation gets the beta first, and the PlayStation's getting exclusive missions through DLC, free DLC or whatever.
See, that's the
Yay.
thing. What
Oh.
multiplayer is in Hitman? How does that work?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, because that whole game.
It's a beta for the single player.
Single player.
Single player beta.
Bug test our build, please.
Yes, test the build. There you go.
Oh my.
So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. How the beta turns out to be,
Yeah.
if it's multiplayer or whatever. See
Yeah,
how
that's
they're
interesting.
introducing multiplayer. But yeah, like I said, it was a really well made trailer. I like that trailer.
Yeah.
Then what was after Hitman?
We're gonna talk about Dreams,
Animation.
Media Molecule.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
Media Molecule. Yes, Media Molecule came up and showed off their new game.
Yeah,
Which
that's
they
one
had a
of.
hard time explaining.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of
Which-
2 times where I screamed at that conference, and I was the only one in the theater screaming. That's one of 2 times because not everyone knows what Media Molecule does, but if you're a fan, then you know you're in for a treat.
I think Dreams was really neat. I just feel that the game might be a bit too abstract, and they worry themselves that how they're going to explain it. I just hope maybe Sony will actually market it well, because when you look at their last game franchise, Little Big Planet, you know, that game had structure, and you know it was very much, you know, like a normal video game. And
Yeah.
but Dreams is something that's solely unique, which is great, which I commend that for. But at the same time, you know, it's something that might be a little difficult to explain to just a casual person or someone that maybe isn't too heavily embedded in the Sony exclusive ecosystem. So I worry a little bit about that, how it would actually do commercially. I think the game will be fantastic. It's just I'm not sure how maybe it might go over with others.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I see what you. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, how do you market this? Because like you say,
they disclaim that they're gonna show it off in a couple like days to the Paris thing and actually really go fully in depth. Well, I think it's like on the show floor, but like they're gonna at another event they're gonna fully explain. You know, it's just like like you need an event to really tell us about your game.
Yeah.
I know that might be a running complaint of mine, like where we don't get enough explanation of a game. But let's be frank here. I mean, you know, at least the games that were kind of shown at press conferences earlier than Sony's, I mean, I at least got mostly an idea of what the game's going to be. But with some of the Sony games, it was just like, okay, that's great. I mean, but at the same time, I still left a little wondering more than I should. I like keeping secrets, that's fine. It's like Uncharted 4. I don't need to see all the gameplay. I understand what Uncharted is. We had 3 other games. But it's just like when you get down to the new stuff, and I commend them for doing something different. It's just I don't really fully understand what it is, and we also have to consider that these press conferences aren't just for us; they're also for investors. And it's just like, well, even to the investor side, it's just like, well, you look at that and you're like, well, what is that? You look at Dreams and you're like, well, what the hell is that? Do I even want to invest money in it? Well, maybe you look at Media Molecule's track record and you would be proven wrong, but at the same time, it's just like, well, I don't know. But let's actually go down like what Dreams was actually about, and we might even have more trouble explaining it more than Media Molecule did. But
I mean from what I gather, it's it's basically like how I described it to my brother afterwards was basically, it's a game where you can basically make your own stop motion claymation films. That's how I described it.
Which is a total
really, that's what you got away from it?
Of what they had showed. From the Sony
my interpretation.
When they had first shown the PS4.
See, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that makes complete sense, but I didn't think of it as like make your own stop motion movies or whatever. I thought of it as look at all these, similar to Little Big Planet, how with the sequel they're like you can make games now. I think this is like make your own stop motion games, and then I got that they got footage of that guy on the little rocket propelled like motorcycle thing. That's like, it's a racing game. That one little dinosaur chick, or no, she was like a little bear, little cute thing, and she was hitting all the zombies. That's gonna be like a brawler, and all these different types of games you can make with this Dream thing.
Yeah. See, I mean, obviously we'll see more of it later once they've like fully explained it. Because that was the problem with the trailer. To me, it didn't really show that what you're making is games. To me, it came off as just like, look, make little short films. Like that's how it came off to me. Like they didn't emphasize that you're making games with it. Like to me, it just looked like you're making movies.
It did seem like something that maybe you can actually maybe experience yourself. Like to others.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something that maybe you're observing. I don't know about that yet. But the trailer did kind of give off that vibe. Maybe it's something that's very passive, but I would kind of guess like correctly that once you actually play it, you're actually kind of experiencing the creations that other people are making.
Because that's the thing I was thinking about with this game. Like you said, to market it, and how do you market the gameplay of this? Because like with Little Big Planet, it was like, okay, if you're not creative, that's fine. But when you see Little Big Planet, you show it to people, they see and like,
it's a like people know.
It's a 2D platformer. I can get behind that. So even if I'm not creative, I have a 2D platformer to play. With this, it's like, well, what do I play if I'm not creative?
Wait, let's go to the one that was in between those two, Tearaway, where it was approaching there, where it was getting to like the abstract, but like at the same time, it was that kind of like 3D platformer that people know.
Yeah, and you still had the platform essence there.
It didn't do that well on Vita, and you have it on PS4 to sell more copies. So it's like now with Dreams, it's just like, that's more difficult. That's even more abstract than Tearaway, and that's saying something. It's just, I don't know, and I like Tearaway a lot, so it's just like,
So we'll have to see probably once they.
And this is all from a marketing standpoint. I'm sure the game's actually going to be really fantastic. I can't actually really wait to even see more of it. But it's just from that standpoint, I'm very worried. I don't know.
I'm just hoping once they show it again, they kind of re-explain maybe what you're doing in the main game. Like if you're not creative and you're not creating things.
Like if there's like a campaign, or if there's like a campaigin. I hate to say campaign, but there's like a story mode, I should say. A story mode. Sorry, just, every time I say campaign, it's just nowadays. Let's just have multiplayer. No, you need like a story mode or a campaign.
And I hope too, like once they do, announce more details for it, I hope they kind of reconfirm that you can use the move control instead of your regular control.
I bet, you can. Yeah, I bet you can.
Yeah.
It's just for the sake of this presentation, they're like, use your DualShock, and it just looks really weird to like flick your DualShock. I'm like, no, let me use the move like you showed me in that other thing where I'm like chiseling away at it,
Yeah, you probably can use the move with it. But the creation tools from like the way you can create was really neat. It definitely looked like something that definitely you couldn't even do last gen. It seemed like really meticulous and something that you couldn't really do before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what really stunned me the most, and like where you saw that years of work go into. And I liked Little Big Planet a whole lot. Sure, it went to the wrong hands after Media Molecule left, but now it's time for them to come back full swinging, and I think they have here. I mean, it looks fantastic, so I'm excited to see more. And see it more in depth and explained a little bit more, and even with its title implies, even our own dreams are even hard to explain. So here it is in game form, and it's hard to explain here.
Yeah, I feel you.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
that's coming out. That game's coming out like whenever.
Probably like 17 or something.
I would hope maybe late 2016, early 2017.
Just whenever.
I know one game that is coming out this year though. Black
games
Ops
coming out this year?
3.
Yes.
Just like I told you guys.
Yes. Well, okay, like, I know I denied that at first about, like, you know, like, oh, Destiny's PlayStation, Call of Duty's Activision, but, you know, once you got stated the facts to me, and then once, you know, I got, you know, even more facts, you know, now that's swayed my mindset that, you know, guess Activision is really getting it on with Sony, and now, you know, things are happening.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I like
lost
Sony stressing. Yeah, Sony's like, it's a new era of Call of Duty from this point onward. So that means even next year and the year after that.
Yep. Oh my God, it's great.
So Call of Duty is far from gone. Yeah. I hope, right?
Yeah,
was Sony too late? Well, here's the question: was Sony too late to the game in this?
Yeah, Sony's too late. Yeah, Sony's too late. They get like this big 5-year contract, and then Activision's like, we're not gonna make a Call of Duty next year.
Trolling.
Oh no, I don't think that's gonna happen at all. Because their whole thing was...
I know, but we're just speaking like hypotheticals because, like...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty's not... Call of Duty's clearly not plateauing, but it's kind of getting to a point where it's kind of like, you know, it's still, you know? It's not peaking up, which I maybe suspect that Black Ops 3 might spike up a little bit because Black Ops 2 was, like, the one that really, like, shot up. Because then you had... Definitely. Ghost, which, you know, due to the fact that there was new gen systems, you know, it kind of like went down a little bit, but then once you guys had Advanced Warfare, it kind of went a little up and then kind of like was kind of stagnant, and it ended up being the best selling game of 2014, so, you know, you can't really beat that. So now Black Ops 3, it may be this new partnership with Sony, and the fact that they said the best selling console in the world, well, new console in the world right now, so it's like, you know, maybe Black Ops 3 might, you know, even be higher than Black Ops 2 in that regard. And the fact that's coming on previous gen systems, unfortunately. But I was impressed with the gameplay demo. It looked pretty cool. The 4-player dynamic is definitely going to be something that's going to really change the face of Call of Duty campaigns. So I just hope it's focused in that regard, due to the fact that Black Ops 2 was not. And I like the fact that you can load out before missions and stuff. That's really cool. Adds a different dynamic. And it was neat that it was so weird, the mixed messaging of when they were going to reveal the damn multiplayer. It was just like, oh, we're going to like reveal tomorrow, but oh, screw you, Sony, we got it today. And they showed a little bit of the multiplayer. That looked really neat, with the underwater guns and the swimming. And
jumping around, wall running.
Yeah, it looked really badass.
And then they're and then they're like, yes, and then PlayStation's getting the map packs first.
Yeah,
and
that was the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah, they didn't say how long, like how much first, if it's going to be the 1 month deal.
No, it's definitely going to be the 30-day thing, because now the return, it's got to be a 30-day thing.
Oh, no, you know, Sony, they'll probably only got like a 1-2 week deal, because, you know, it's just whatever.
Yeah, they do that. They did that with Battlefield, 3 or something.
Yeah, Battlefield 3. Yeah, it was only like a 2 week deal. And it's like, no, man, it's Call of Duty. You got to go big. It's got to be a 1 month deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
It probably will be 1 month.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was my favorite segment of the show, because as much as I loved every single thing there,
Black Ops 3 did have quite a presence at the Sony show.
Oh yeah, I was just so satisfied because I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming so hard, and it just blew all my expectations out of the water. That was like the second thing that I screamed really loud at, and no one else joined me, because no one really cares about COD unless you're like a Madden playing kid. But yeah, I love that thing. And then they had Yellow Wolf in the trailer for it, and I'm a big Yellow Wolf fan as far as the music goes. So everything about that game speaks to me, man.
Was that during the multiplayer, right?
Oh yeah, during the multiplayer. Yep, it was Till It's Gone, Yellow Wolf.
Yeah.
Download on iTunes now.
Yeah. I was like, man, this music's really hyping me up.
Yeah, and actually, the one thing that really surprised me too in that announcement for Call of Duty was that they said, the map packs would come first to PlayStation, but they also said that PlayStation would get the first beta in August.
Oh yeah, man, it's coming right up.
Yeah, that's like 2 months away, but still, August, that's 2 months before the game comes out. So you know what that means? This is a real beta.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like this is a real beta that actually they can actually get feedback on and change it, you know, before the game comes out. You know, unlike some other games where they put out the beta 2 weeks before the game comes out, and you're like, there's no way you can change the game. We're 2 weeks out.
Oh yeah, I feel you, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Treyarch. Yeah, go ahead.
Because, I mean, we have a bunch of betas announced this past E3. I mean, you got the Division beta starts in, like, December, January. So that's enough time to kind of... Yeah, on Xbox it's December. PlayStation's probably, like, January or something. But that's still at least 2 months before it comes out in March. That is time to, you know, take feedback and make some changes to the game. You know, maybe some balancing or whatnot. But you look at something like Rainbow Six Siege... Yeah, their beta's like September 29th, and the game comes out 2 weeks later on October 13th. Like, what are you going to do in those 2 weeks?
It's basically the server
they did have
test.
That alpha. Yeah, they did have an alpha like a couple months ago previous, so like they're probably taking stuff from that, putting it into the beta, and then they'll know what the patch on a first day patch type thing, maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying though. A lot of these betas they're like a few weeks before launch, so it's kind of like there's not too much you can change. But like but doing a Call of Duty beta in August, you know, 2 months before the game comes out, that does give them a good bit of time to like really, you know, look at the player feedback and kind of see how they, you know, how they react to it, and maybe do some changes, you know.
Because Treyarch out of all the Call of Duty developers actually do a good job on feedback.
Oh yeah, agree 100%. Agree.
Honestly. The worst one is absolutely Infinity Ward. They take forever to get their shit in a row. So it's just like Treyarch does it like right away as soon as they hear something. So that's fantastic. I'm excited for Black Ops 3. I can't believe I'm even saying.
Oh yeah, I know.
I buy COD every year no matter what, but it's like whether or not I'm excited for it is another thing. And I can't be biased against that because it's like, you know, a PlayStation family now, but it's just I'm actually more excited about Black Ops 3 than I have been about Call of Duty in the past 3 years. So I guess ever since Black Ops 2, when I was hyped for Black Ops 2 and then I was disappointed. Now, hopefully that's not the same thing again. So I'm excited.
I think I know it. They know what they're doing this time.
I hope so. But they do. Because they're with Sony. Because they're with Sony. But,
yeah, they're in bed with the right people this time.
Oh, son!
Oh boy.
Son? Well, wait. Speaking of awesome music and trailers, Evan, did you watch the Ghost Recon trailer?
Oh no, for Ubisoft.
Yeah, for Ubisoft.
Yeah, I was actually driving to the E3 thing while that was going on, so I missed that entirely.
Oh, you missed the trailer. Oh, I'm telling you what, man. You need to watch that. So maybe I spoiled that for you, but there's a new Ghost Recon game. Surprise, surprise. And you gotta watch the trailer. It's fantastic. It's probably the best trailer to come out of E3.
Oh, wow, really? Okay. Better than Fallout 4.
Yeah, I'll pick it up.
All right, then, but yeah. What else did they announce during the conference that we saw like an hour ago?
There was one kind of, I guess it's technically an indie game, but it looked really good. Like I'm really excited for it. But Firewatch looks awesome.
Oh yeah, Firewatch is awesome, dude.
The one where you're like the camper, the hiker or whatever. You're like a park ranger. Yeah, that's what you are. You're a park ranger, and you're like by yourself. And there's like a mystery behind it. People are going missing. There's somebody else there. You're talking to this woman on the radio. Like, it just looks really awesome. Like, I loved everything about that. Just seeing it, like the art style, the kind of sense of humor it has, but also the mystery and the kind of horror they're kind of putting in there. Like, I'm so excited
really
for that.
Something really unique in the first person genre, like Portal.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. Like, hopefully we see it soon because they didn't give a release date for that one either. They just said it'd be coming first to PS4 and PC.
What if it's a PS Plus game?
Oh,
yeah, that'd be even better.
That'd be the greatest thing because that game gives me so many vibes. It's like Gone Home, kind of, but then it meets like it has some vibes of like Up and like the whole Pixar art style type thing, and it just tackles mature themes and everything. It's just it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that. I was really impressed by that little bit we saw.
Yeah,
but really excited for Firewatch.
Yeah, that's gonna take a lot of people surprise, I'm sure.
Yeah, actually, it was weird because I was a little worried by Sony's indie presence at E3 because I felt like Microsoft maybe had somewhat of an edge in terms of indie scene. I mean, I really liked Cuphead a lot, and I was like, damn, that isn't coming to PlayStation. Cuphead is awesome.
Oh yeah, I love that art style of Cuphead.
Oh yeah, Cuphead's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I want to somehow find a way to play Cuphead once that comes out.
Well, I mean, I guess it's coming to PC. I guess you can try playing it on your computer.
I'm sure I won't need something advanced to run it, so maybe I could.
No trophies on PC.
I won't get any trophies, unfortunately, but yeah.
But that one's
it'll
staying.
be worth it.
But that
Cuphead
one's staying on
looks awesome
Xbox. I think it's a Microsoft published game or something. So I think that's staying on Xbox.
Yes.
Yeah. Cuphead 2 coming to PlayStation soon.
Oh yeah. Cuphead 2. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, Sony did show some indies, but they weren't like a whole big focus on them like it was last year. Like the only two that really got a big spotlight was No Man's Sky and Firewatch. Those two got like a big spotlight, and then after that, it was just more like a montage. We saw a little sizzle reel, and we saw what's that company's name? It's working like
Devolver Digital.
Games.
Yeah, Devolver Digital.
Devolver. There you go.
Well, yeah, I guess their thing is making ultra-violent, like 16-bit games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But,
hey, they all look awesome, so I can't even hate.
Yeah, they do. It's just like I'm like, is that their thing? That's all they do.
Yeah, I guess so.
But which is fine. Which is interesting. And what else? Wasn't about it until the lead waits of the ending of Uncharted 4, which I have a lot to say about Uncharted 4. But what else is there?
Well, then they did their Star Wars thing.
Oh yeah, Star Wars.
Where they like gave the resounding theme song, and then guess what? Disney Infinity.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was the Wonderbook moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny. Like, you hear the Star Wars theme, and they're coming on stage like, Sony is partnering with Star Wars for the year of Star Wars, and then you're like, Battlefront time. And nope, they cut. Bundle time and all that. Nope, they cut to Disney Infinity 3.0, bringing Star Wars to PlayStation.
Oh, that was great. That was hilarious, dude. I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, and you get your PlayStation exclusive starter kit that comes with the game, the first expansion pack, and you get the exclusive Boba Fett figure.
Yeah, I know.
Boba Fett's exclusive, dude.
Yeah, he's this year's Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I feel like that might kind of be a big deal, because the thing is, Disney Infinity games, I don't think they're probably not bad games. Like, I've never played them myself, but they're probably still good games. Just games that we don't care about in comparison.
I played
to a
2.0
Battlefront
extensively, and although I hate the story mode, the create mode's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even though that's like the last thing we wanted to see on stage at a Sony conference when they're talking about Star Wars, it was still pretty cool that it even exists. But yeah, the real meat and potatoes with Battlefront.
Yes, then they're like, because when they were done with Infinity, I'm like, no, they can't be done talking about Star Wars stuff, right? And then they came back on stage and kept doing Star Wars, like, and Star Wars Battlefront, and then they're like, yeah, bring Battlefront back, and they're showing it. They're showing, the single player mission mode or whatever. It's not really a campaign, but it's mission
like
mode or whatever. And they're like,
yeah,
you can play this by yourself. You can play it in split screen co-op or online co-op, and it's this and it's whatever. It's neat. It looks so good visually. But I don't think. But it was weird. Like they showed Star Wars, and they're obviously promoting it on PlayStation. But like, is there any exclusive content? I don't think they said any. Right? Or is there?
I think the most they get,
unless I miss.
Yeah, the most they get, they have the DLC coming out this fall for the movie that's coming out, and I think PlayStation gets it a week early. I think that's the most that's going to happen.
That's it. So it's not like a bunch of exclusive content. You get that one little thing.
Yeah, it's no Destiny.
And no. Yeah, and no Star Wars bundle like we wanted, but
Well, that seemed a little much. I mean, they even put up our Batman Arkham Knight one.
Yeah, that was on screen for a second.
Basically, they want you to buy the Batman Arkham Knight bundle.
Oh yeah. And the Arkham Knight demo looked cool as well. Just to say that real quick, even though it wasn't anything like the actual gameplay we'll see, it was a pretty cool little story section. It's too close for me to even want to see.
Like, it was first person.
Yeah, that's the PlayStation exclusive missions.
Oh, really? It is?
Play that in first person.
That's the Scarecrow missions, the Scarecrow Nightmare missions.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was like intro to the game or something. God, that's amazing.
It looked like it, right? Because like you see Joker dies. Oh, spoilers, everybody! Joker dies in Batman Arkham City. It isn't that kind of like a big middle finger to anybody that hasn't played the previous two, and thus we have the possibility of a collection coming out later this year. It's just kind of like weird, but anyways.
Well, they did the Last of Us remastered thing.
In the trailer, it's like screw you, anybody that hasn't played Batman Arkham games before, and like you see Joker dead, basically cremated. It looked like the opening to Batman Arkham Knight. I'm like, am I seeing the opening to this game? I don't want that spoiled. The game's coming up.
No,
yeah, that's what I thought.
No, that's the exclusive Nightmare, Scarecrow Nightmare missions.
Yeah,
well, that's weird.
Well, that's pretty cool. It's cool to see.
Why am I doing this crap? Why am I playing as a police officer?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It's cool to see that we're getting like some worthwhile exclusive missions. I mean, I thought it was just going to be some random challenge map type of thing, but no, it's actually
I know, right?
some pretty cool stuff. Okay.
Alrighty. Welcome to the PSBS, that's the PlayStation Bull Session Podcast. I'm your host, Cody, PSN Bayou Boys. My co-host here is
Andrew Arenas, double is.
Yes, and we are joined today by our guest host,
Emmett Watkins Jr., EJ Spun 61.
Yes, see, Emmett's back to go over with us the Sony E3 Press Conference, which just ended a little while ago. We're trying to give you direct reactions to that since it kind of just ended. And since this is very heavily PlayStation related, we're going to chalk this up as episode 21 and not just a special E3 episode like our last two were, the EA and the Bethesda one.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
this is going to be our official 21st episode.
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah. So, yes, indeed.
Jesus Christ, that conference.
Yeah, trying to figure out where to start here, but a lot of surprising stuff.
And here in that Sony did a fantastic job.
Start from the beginning.
For the most part, there was maybe some things that I felt was maybe a little left out. We'll get to those later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to those. But
okay.
But what Sony started off with was no more waiting. Last Guardian has returned.
Yes.
Oh my God!
And
from the deepest cryo sleep.
It's like right out of the gate. It's like Last Guardian. We opened the show with Last Guardian. It's like okay.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't freaking believe it. You see, because I was at the PlayStation E3 Experience Theater thing, the entire crowd went freaking crazy. Like you couldn't hear anything for a good 30 seconds after the screaming was over. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah. But it's great that it's been exciting. But the weird thing too, like with The Last Guardian, it's like, it's been so long since we last seen it. I think last time they showed it was like 2009 was when they last showed it. So it's been a while. And it's here. It's finally here. They showed an extended demo. It went on for a good bit, just kind of showing the gameplay or whatever. One thing, though, I kind of noticed, and I mean, some people are probably going to be complaining about this, but it's on PS4 now, but, I mean, obviously there's going to be some more comparison videos, and we'll see, but, I mean, considering we saw this 7 years ago, it's not that different.
Well, I mean, it really is what you waited for. I mean, it's
not 6 years ago.
True.
Well, I mean, really just to kind of come back to it's really what you waited for. I mean, it's...
I know, but it's not like other...
We couldn't have, like, a completely different looking game. I mean, it couldn't... I don't think it could have been, like, the revision.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of...
For.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you picture with games that go dormant after a while. I mean, that's what happened with, like, Until Dawn,
the original Borderlands.
Original Borderlands, Final Fantasy 13 Versus or whatever, like those games went dormant, and when they came back, they were completely rebuilt. Like it's something different, because they had to kind of rework it, But with Last Guardian, it's like, no, it looks like the same game you originally showed us, and it kind of makes you wonder, well, if it's the same game, then what was the holdup,
I feel like it was like some internal struggle or something, but I really think they just had a hard time figuring out how to make extra content for the game because it probably needed to be